Hello and welcome to Stumps and Sixes, where every cricketing moment finds its voice. KKR, RR, and SRH have already made it to the playoffs. Tonight, we have the decider CSK versus RCB, and we are going to find out who the fourth team is going to be. So, before we start the preview, let's just put the scenario in front of the viewers. So, CSK only need a win. If they are to lose, they need to lose by a small margin, and if it rains, it's going to benefit CSK. But for RCB, they need to do a bit more. They need to defeat CSK by 18 runs if they bat first. If they chase, they have to chase it down in 18.1 overs, and they have to hope that the rain doesn't play spoil sport. So we have Gershom and Sai Vignesh with us, one RCB fan and one CSK fan. So I want to start with Gershom, a diehard RCB fan. So this season has been such a interesting season for RCB. In the first 8 matches, RCB won only one match, or I'll put it this way, they lost 7 out of the first 8. And then something clicked. They have won 5 and 5. So as a RCB fan, just sum up the season for us.
I'll be honest. I think Vivan, you started off the show by saying we don't know who the fourth team is. I think we do. It's clearly going to be RCB. Talking about riding that wave of form. I think we've just and I think you were talking about this is not a situation we don't find ourselves in. This is something that we find ourselves in every 2 seasons once. Even in 2016 we were there. 2023 we needed to win the do or die match against GT and we didn't make it through. Getting to the other things later on, I think just how RCB's been able to come back. I think, and one more thing, I was just in Bangalore and I was just at my place, and from the time RCB started winning, you could see the entire environment in Bangalore just change. From the guy who's selling you groceries, from the bus drivers, everybody it just changes, and I think RCB's got to do it for them at least. And I don't think there'll be a better day than today. May 18th, for a lot of reasons. Virat Kohli's had such great form on that day. And Chinnaswamy, it could be either Dhoni's last game. We still don't know about that. I'm pretty sure Sai will say that he'll play a couple more games in the playoffs. But all in all, I think just the way they've started, to the way they've come back after that 8 match, 7 losses that you spoke about, truly shows what kind of a team, what it can achieve. And irrespective of what happens, all cards on the table, irrespective of what happens, I think just the way they've been able to, if you see a lot of teams that showed so much promise in the beginning are already out of the contention, and we're coming to the almost the last stage of the league, and to still have a chance, I think it takes some real guts, I would say.
Sai?
I like the confidence of Gershom, like saying that the fourth team would be RCB. Like, haunting itself. Bro, you were wearing blue, okay. Don't have confidence in yourself first. But apart from that, the comeback that RCB made was like tremendous. Like, we were expecting that they would be the first team to get eliminated. From there, they are now in the contest for the fourth spot in the playoff. That's some surreal comeback. I think that one X Factor called Will Jacks, that game against GT, where he scored a century and played against New. I think RCB got the momentum back in that match, and the big setback is that he's missing the game today. But like he said, irrespective of the result today, like whoever wins, he should remain as one of the greatest comebacks ever in the IPL history for sure.
Absolutely. And I think, sorry,
And I
I
think
think just
Gershom made a really good point about momentum. So, like he said, RCB are riding on a wave of form. So that's the case. I mean, when you have 5 on 5, RCB are riding in on a lot of momentum. Now the matches, they have got a lot of gap between their last match and this match. So they didn't want that. I mean, they were ready to play the match in the next half an hour actually, because they are in such form. There's so much energy with wins. When you keep winning, you want to keep playing. So that's the case. Like RCB have a really good momentum, and now if they are to win their sixth game, like today, they will be 6-6 going into the playoffs. That is what the other teams can be daunted by. So RCB have momentum, and on the other hand, CSK, they have the kind of season for them has been they have won few, lost few, won few, lost few again. They have had their comebacks, but they also have had some off days. So I want to ask Gershom, so riding on momentum, how much does it help RCB?
One point you mentioned that they wanted to play the match very soon. The 18th match that's today. Given that they've had a great form. As I said, I had the chance of being in Bangalore, and I stay really close to the stadium, and I did go to a couple of not to matches, to the practice sessions. So usually after a match they have mandatory sessions and optional sessions. So usually all the big players and players who performed in the last match, they try to sit out in the optional practice. But what I saw when I went with my friends was that each and every one of them, all 30, including, the support staff, everybody was on ground. And, Kohli was at his absolute best, trying to get the energy in. So, yes, the momentum does play a part. But, I don't think this gap of days that you mentioned should play a huge deal, because the tickets were sold out well in advance. And it'll be really, interesting to see, will it be a sea of yellow? Because it's going to be one last time that Dhoni and Kohli are going to play together.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so say that's one thing
Sea
that
of
we'll have
yellow.
to see. That's one thing we'll have to see, Sai. But the truth is that I think it's just going to be one hell of a match. And there was this one. I want to end this with one small, this quote or something like a match. This thing that I read. It said, "What if we need to chase it down? We need to restrict them." By 18 runs or so, and CSK
Yeah.
needs 20 runs of the last ball. So, and Dhoni's on strike. So if Dhoni
And
hits a
he hit a
six,
six.
CSK still
I
loses.
also thought that.
Yeah, well, that's
Imagine that.
and
Imagine that.
as good as it might be to be true, you never know. In IPL, in this game of cricket, you never know. So I think I don't know. It's going to be one thrilling match, but yeah, I think momentum does play a role, but I don't think the gap days usually matter that much to RCB.
And you're talking about CSK momentum. Even you forget that the C in the CSK stand for comeback. Okay. We are known for comebacks, man. No saying about us. Like
Yeah,
CSK won 5 trophies because they won all these crucial matches on the important day. They have stepped up in those all the knockout matches, and this is a virtual knockout. So I strongly believe that the CSK will have that extra bumped up. They will be boosted up, and they will, and the players like Shubham Dubey, Ravindra, I think even Daryl Mitchell, who hasn't stepped up as much as he was expected, those guys will step up today, and also they will. But I want a win from CSK. Like I don't want that NRR and all. I still imagine that it would be really fun. Like if CSK needed 23 of last ball, and then Dhoni hit a six, and it's like 17. So as we lost a chance to 100.
right.
I imagined it that way, but still I want them to win the match. I want the full match to happen. Like I don't want the rain to interrupt. I really don't want that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I
Like Sai
yeah,
mentioned, like Gersha mentions, like RCB have momentum, and Sai mentions, but CSK have the champion mentality. I mean, they have been there, done it all. They've seen it all. They've been in this situation for so long. CSK are the only team who have never finished 10th. Now MI have finished 10th twice in the last 3 years, but this came up that CSK have never finished 10th. They have that experience of playing these crucial crunch matches, playing under pressure, performing. They have some players who can really step up and say that today is my day and I'm going to be the winner for the team. And that's the kind of. And now if CSK have to make it to
No,
the
but
playoffs, who is the most.
Vivan, there's one difference I think that we all have to mention for sure, given that yeah, CSK has had a great run of form, in all the seasons they've played, but it's just that there's been a little bit of change from the start of the season. At the helm of things, it's not MS Dhoni anymore, it's Ruturaj Gaikwad, and even though
yeah,
CSK is a set squad, a majority of it, coming to this crunch games was Dhoni's cool-headedness and his calmness that took them through. So I know he's still in the squad, but tactically, again, he's available for Ruturaj. He's been there to give him that couple of words of advice. But I think Dhoni will take a step back somewhere, because maybe next season or the season after that, Dhoni will not be there. But there will be a crunch game. So Dhoni cannot, just completely, take the calls on who should be where, and, who should go before who, or stuff like that. So it's going to be one test for Ruturaj, at least. And if Ruturaj comes good from this, and all guns blazing, I think it's just great signs for CSK going forward.
I think till now Ruturaj Gaikwad has passed almost all the tests that he has, because we thought that with the captaincy pressure, we've seen it happen with Jadeja. When Jadeja was
Right.
made captain, it affected his batting, his bowling, his performances. But for Ruturaj Gaikwad, that hasn't happened. I mean, he has stepped up for CSK so long. This season, he has continued his consistency. He's been consistent, and even though he has having the pressure of the captaincy, he has MSD to support him, and we have seen it take no toll on his batting. So Ruturaj Gaikwad, of course, has another test to pass tonight. But like I was saying,
Tactically though, he might need a little bit of, batting wise has not had an effect. He's actually grown better, taking that. I think there's one innings I
Right,
saw.
absolutely.
It was a very low score that had to be chased down, and CSK kept losing wickets, and he stayed with one hand, and he got a 39 ball 50, or if I'm not wrong, somewhere like that, which was a
yeah,
very Kohli like innings. He stays there in the ends
Yeah.
in this tricky chase and gets them through. So batting wise, yeah, there's no doubts, but I don't think. So I do think, like, I mean, there have been, tactically a couple of changes. I mean, yeah, he's still done well. He's still, he has a very
Yeah.
big shoes to fill. But tactically, I think he needs a couple more experience, to, be that
Yeah,
leader
very
that
true.
he could
Like
be.
he changed a few things after he became captain. Like he changed like the CSK was not a usual CSK which we were supposed to be. Like he was sending a squad in every match, which won't happen in the previous years. Like he was
Yeah,
playing around fast bowlers. Like he's also not. Dhoni mostly runs spinners. Like
yeah.
I think so. Didn't play for 10 matches. Like he just played in the
And
last
and
match.
and batting order also, he kept Daryl Mitchell. I think once he came three down, then I saw him come after
Yeah, he
Dhoni.
had some.
So a little
Yeah,
stuff like that. But that's just
but
one thing
that's
that we'll know
okay,
tomorrow.
Darshan. That's okay. Like
Yeah,
he's a new captain. He will make some mistakes. He will learn. He will grow.
absolutely.
But I think today he will do his best. I hope so.
Yeah, I think
Today,
that's the
important
test.
match,
That's
he will
that's the
give their
test.
best. And even Dhoni will have that extra urge to win the match and go to the playoff in his last season. Like he said,
Right.
his last match will be in Chennai, in Chepak. And I think
Yeah,
Dhoni will go 100% to make it happen.
I'll
I
be
believe so.
honest, the RCB fan in me aside, just the fact that it's going to be, in Chepauk, I really want CSK to be in that final. I mean, I don't know, a lot of people in Bangalore might not agree with this, but I really feel I want them there, and just I think they're going to blow the roof off, if it's going to be a very crunch match and Dhoni finishes it
Yeah,
off.
if they get
Oh
there,
my
they will
God, that's
go. Yeah.
that's
If
just yeah,
CSK
that's
gets
just
there, the
dream.
final, they will win it surely.
exactly,
For
not
me.
Yeah,
just an
so
RCB fan and Gershon, but even Virat Kohli in his interview, and I think he spoke with Geo Cinema. He said that today might be the last time RCB and CSK are playing. So I mean, Dhoni and Kohli are playing
Kohli are
together. So
playing. Yeah.
yeah, so he said that they have had some really good partnerships for India in the past. And so this is a really good anticipated match, even for the fans' perspective as well, who are going to turn up at CSK, even the RCB fans who are going to be there. So the storylines, the script writers have wrote such an amazing story, like final CSK versus RCB, Dhoni versus Kohli, and it is that only one story is going to move on. So for the CSK one, it is of course like Sai mentioned, the final is in Chepauk. CSK fans, I mean CSK fans have been everywhere. Even in away games, it feels like CSK are playing at home. Sea of yellow, following Thala everywhere. So that kind of support is to see Dhoni lift that IPL trophy in Chepauk. The final is in Chepauk. So that is one romantic story for CSK side. The other one for RCB is Kohli leading their side. 17 years, no trophy. Finally, can it be Isala Cup Namde? Can it become Isala Cup Namdu like Smriti Mandana had
Yeah.
said?
To
So
be honest,
these,
sorry to interrupt you. You want 1 minute.
yeah,
To be honest, like
yeah.
how versus that even as a CSK fan, I had that one soft spot for RCB. Like let them go to playoff, let them win. Like they are in the good momentum. Like let Virat Kohli touch a trophy at least once. Even I, I had that feeling further, but when it comes to CSK, Dhoni's last season, like I'm confused. Like, I want both of them to win. I mean,
we should have
of
put
themselves.
SRH out, bro. I don't know which line they came off in.
Yeah, bro, that drains
SRH for
spoil,
no
bro. That
reason.
drain.
Yeah, unnecessary. They played well initially. Now there's no
Yeah.
form only. What they're coming to playoff, but yeah, they had to
But
lose
one
two
more
matches,
regret
but
is
one
like
game.
Gersham. I don't mind losing this match, but what will happen is RCB, if they win this match, they will go to eliminator, and there they will also SRH. That was makes me irritated more. Like, guys, why did you do this? Like, they do it every year. They will go to playoff so strongly, and then they will lose their so cheaply against. They have returned against
Yeah,
LSG,
well,
RR,
that has been the
SR,
case.
and
I will
even
not disagree.
SRH many times. Yeah.
That has been the
It's
case.
a
I will
really
not
good point.
disagree,
Yeah.
but you just live to die another day in this game. You just have to get up and start doing what you're doing. But and again, a lot of times, even except 2016, barring the 2016 season, whenever we've made to the playoffs, you had a good start, and then we've not gotten the momentum, as
Yeah.
Vivan was pointing it out. And I think in tournaments like this, I think this is something that Pat Cummins said. It's called peaking at the right moment, and I think RCB's done it perfectly. And even honestly, when they started, I thought it was a little bit too late because we needed a lot of results to go our way, not just one or two, a lot of those matches. And given the fact that they did, I don't know, maybe it's meant to be, maybe it's not, but you just go out there and
But
you just try to make the best
comment
of it,
which
right?
Pat Cummins mentioned is this. This is the comment he mentioned that high events which RCB had made doesn't count if they lost today. This is the moment where you have to peak, where you have to put like which like Australians do. Like we saw in the
Yeah,
World Cup last year. They were like lost 4 or 2 in their first 2 games, and then they went to in the World Cup. I mean,
true.
picking is right
Exactly.
when you win the matches when you need the most. I think this is the moment
And
they
I
should
think
peak. They want to
And
win
it
the
is
I think
come to a
tournament.
that
fact, it is a one-off game, so anything can happen. I mean, barring the
I think,
momentum, barring CSK's experience, it is a one-off game. It is about who handles that pressure and performs at that crunch moment is going to win. And like Sai Vignesh pointed out really well, that going into the playoffs, the other three teams, who would they want to be coming in the fourth place? Because like CSK, they have, like I said, they've seen it all. They have had their crucial moments going leading into the playoffs, and once they have entered the playoffs, their experience comes in. How many qualifier ones have they won? They've already won 5 IPL titles. Means they have performed in the finals too. They don't have that big game. They have that big game awareness. Their players step up. Even if they are playing an eliminator, they have had their really good days, and they have eliminated other teams. So going into the playoffs, and like Sai said, so RCB on the other hand, in the 2016 season, they went so well into the finals that it was RCB's trophy to win finally. And
Yeah,
then
bro.
in the final, of course, there was
They
a
gifted the
and
trophy
even in the
to
final,
SRH
they
really.
were in a very really good position, but they let it slip. So for that, RCB or CSK, like who do you think the other teams would want in the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, Sai brings out a point. It's of course, CSK has done better in the playoffs, unlike RCB, and it's clearly so. They're five-time champions against us being none. But I don't think the history plays so much of a factor. See, as Sai said, he wants CSK to win and then go. So if CSK win it convincingly by 60, 50 runs or 40 runs, and then they go, they'll be scared. But let's say they'll lose and they still get qualified. So even though the team is known to perform well at qualifiers, but they probably wouldn't have the same amount of confidence that they did. And we can't deny it, there is a slight dip of form in CSK. They've I think they've lost 2 out of the last 4, if I'm not wrong, or something like that. They're losing a couple of matches
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
the really strong start they had. So given that, if CSK win convincingly and they go to the, yeah, of course they would obviously not want to play CSK. But given that CSK slightly lose by the margin lesser than 18, and then they get in, I think the teams would, like their chances of winning against it. But on the other hand, if RCB win it convincingly, not by 19 runs or 20 runs, if RCB win by 30 runs, and I'll tell you, nothing gives the Bangalore team confidence like beating CSK team, only because they're five-time champions,
Absolutely.
CSK or
I
Mumbai,
agree with
right? So when you beat a team of that caliber, SRH might not seem as strong. I mean, I know they've had a great start in just great batting, but again, they just played one way. So there's not a lot of adaptability. So once you beat a team of this caliber, maybe they'll. So you can't just say this will be easier, that will be easier. I think it all depends on the scenario. If as I said, if CSK beat convincingly, they'd be clearly the better team and a more difficult team. But if RCB beat convincingly, I think then RCB would also be, it'd be 6 out of 6. which doesn't happen every day, in tournaments like this. So I think it's up to that. But also from this, I think there's one more point that both of you mentioned is the pressure, and I think I need to put that question forward to both of you all again, only because see. Sai spoke about Australia and how Australians handle the pressure really well, and they've made it to they won a World Cup, in India against India in the final. So it's not going to be like it's only be RCB supporters. There is going to be a sea of yellow. I'm absolutely sure. All jokes aside. So it has to be for both the teams to adapt to that pressure. And this is something that we talk day in and day out in tournaments, and we tell how to adapt to pressure. But again, at the end of the day, they're still players. So what do you think they should do differently? I mean, you know how the pitch is in Bangalore, so maybe in terms of the toss, or in terms of how the game plan, or do they go all out, or to handle the pressure. I think I need to take views from both of you as to what the right way to deal with it is.
I think for
So I
CSK, their
feel you
squad
want.
has
I will
weakened
go.
with
Okay.
Patirana, Deepak Chahar being injured at crucial points. Their squad has been weakened. If you see in the last game against CSK and RR, they bowled really well, but that pitch, it was a slow pitch. On the other hand, Chinnaswamy is going to be a batting paradise. So the thing to watch out for me is going to be, and RCB have a really strong batting lineup. They are coming up from momentum. They have been really good with their batting. So I want to see how Simarjeet Singh, then Shardul Thakur, Tushar Deshpande, even Mitchell Santner has come in now because Moeen Ali is back in England. So even Jadeja, we haven't seen him. The spin department, we've known CSK to be really good in the spin department. Now Jadeja hasn't been that consistent. Of course, he has had a good season, but he is not proved to be that match winner with the ball. Santner coming in, Jadeja. So for that, I need the thing to note to thing to look out for is how CSK's kind of inexperienced bowling lineup, you can say, uh, bowls against, and of course, like you mentioned, pressure situations, bowl to the RCB batting lineup. So, Sai, how much difference has that those injuries made? Because Patirana has had been their crunch bowler. At the death, he was the reason behind CSK's success. So,
And,
how do
and,
you
and
think
just before
that caused
Yeah,
them?
just before Sai, you start off, I think, Vivan, I think it's both. You said CSK's inexperienced bowling lineup against RCB's batting lineup, and RCB's inexperienced bowling lineup against the dreaded CSK's batting lineup. So I think the team that bowls well against the pressure, I think will. Sorry to interrupt, Sai. You can take it forward.
So okay. So like Ivan was finally defended your team RR. Bro, you lost to us, okay, and you were saying it's low pitch, so that's why CSK bowlers did well. Like,
He was
bro,
waiting.
then
He
what
was
was
waiting so
what
long. He
bowlers
was
doing?
waiting so
Yeah,
long
bro.
silently for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah. No, no.
bowled
Agreed,
really
agreed, agreed. Yeah,
slow pitch. Like, what did
yeah.
RR bowlers for them? We chased it comfortably with Uttara standing there.
You didn't chase
And
it
coming,
comfortably. You lost 5 wickets.
we chased, bro, still. We chased it.
It was not a comfortable
Oh
chase.
no. But we chased it. We won. We got 2 points.
Okay, guys. I think
Even,
you all will meet very
yeah,
soon. I think we'll have an answer to that. Yeah.
yeah, sure. And coming to this match, I think RCB, like, given the scenarios, I feel they should bat first. Like, if you want to win a margin by 18 runs, I would prefer defending. We can at least if they bat first, score 420, 430 runs, they can still defend it by 20 runs. It's possible. Like,
Right.
what difference this way? If CSK bats first, they score 220, and it's quite difficult to just hit it with 4 versus 5. It will not happen every day. So RCB should look to bat first, and CSK they just have to do one thing. They just take the game to the last over, last ball. That's what they should do, and they have the
Yeah.
best man to do it in their squad. And talking about the inexperienced bowler, and again the same man behind the wickets, he will help them. He will there to play them. Even Putraj is there. I feel they will have that. I don't know, like I feel like it will be a complete flat pitch where the bowlers will get nothing like usual Swami pitch. I think that team where the spinners do well will have that highlight. Like Swapnil
Agreed.
Singh in and Karan Sharma in RCB, and we have Mahesh Theekshana. I'm not sure he will play or not, but if he plays, and along with that, though, if Santner plays, I think they will have that. That will make that difference. Like, I feel.
Yeah. And likewise, I think it's Karan Sharma and Swapnil Singh, and they'll have to perform for RCB. So the team that bowls spin well, I think absolutely. I think he brings up a great point. I think especially in Bangalore, the team that bowls spin well and plays spin well will win the game.
No, but what do you make of
Absolutely.
RCB's bowling transformation? In the first 8 games, they were getting absolutely belted. And now, if you see, like Gershon mentioned, even RCB's bowling lineup is inexperienced. But coming into, if we talk about the last 5 games, RCB's bowling lineup has significantly improved. I think they have found, of course, too late, but eventually they now know who their best bowlers are for the crucial matches. So now I think how Lockie Ferguson, the way he came in, and even Cameron Green, he's bowled really well in the last matches. Mohammad Siraj with the new ball, brilliant. Even Swapnil Singh, Karan Sharma, they played their parts. So I think RCB's bowling lineup doesn't look as weak as we were talking about in the first half of the season. It has eventually improved a lot. And like how I mentioned that in the first 8 matches and in the next 5 matches, it is like too bad RCB were in the first 8 matches. They completely got outplayed. But in the next 5 matches, they had even dominated games. It weren't even close finishes. Some games they absolutely dominated. So I think Rajat Patidar played a big part, and I would like to ask Gershom his views on it because what other teams were doing, what they were trying to bowl spin early to Virat Kohli to curb his strike rate. Okay, but when Rajat Patidar came in and started attacking spinners, their game plan went out of the box because when even if Kohli was on the other hand, Patidar was completely taking on the spin, and like how Shivam Dube does it for CSK, he was a spin hitting beast. So that and Will Jacks, like Sai mentioned, was a really good. He came in. Maxwell was out, and Will Jacks came in. That was a really good move. Of course, Will Jacks performed with that century. But now Will Jacks is not going to play. England players are back. So today, mostly Maxwell will play. So what are your thoughts, Gershom, on RCB's transformation in the first 8 games to the next 5 games?
Bowling wise, 2 points you bring up, bowling wise and Rajat Patidar. I think Rajat Patidar is small and simple. He's one of the cleanest hitters of the ball I've seen. Honestly, the way he goes on the back foot and hits it on the long on and long off, I swear. I think a lot of people have said, even though he's not, realized his full potential in terms of clean hitting, not power hitting, clean hitting, hits it comes right up the middle of the bat. And I think I want everybody to listen on the stump mic every time he hits the bat. It's just one of the best sounds I've heard. So that's about Rajat Patidar. Always had it in him. Just came good at the right time. But the bowling, I think, see, it's not different bowlers. It was the same bowlers who were getting hit left, right, and center who are doing well now. So what changed? Again, just the way you look at the game, I think it all changed. Talking about Will Jacks, that one match where he was 50 off, 18 or no, scores a half century where nobody saw it coming. We needed only 50 runs and he needed 50 for a century. He scored all the 50 runs. So I think I want to think that's where it started. But usually these kind of things happen in the change room and in the drawing board. That's where people plan out. So they're coming with something different. It's not one bowler. It's not Swapnil Singh who's come in. It's not Lockie Ferguson. But it's just something they've done differently and they've come up with differently. Siraj is bowling amazing. He was out of form. There were questions about even his place in the World Cup. He's performed amazing. Yes, Dayal was started comparing to those 5 6s he gave to Rinku, but even though he's played well for GT, and it's just they've come good at the right time and they've complemented one and each other. And even Faf in terms of when to get whom. He always bowls Swapnil in the first over, and that's turned out to be gold, getting first wickets every over. So that's good. And yeah, it's just I think they took some time. I think that's the inexperience of the bowling lineup. But talent always, after a point, they've gotten the experience, they've gotten to know how the pitches play, and they've come up and performed well.
Yeah,
And
but
Sai, if
I
CSK
feel
have to
what
win
is
this
the
game, who are the top
okay.
performers you think who need to step up today if CSK have to win?
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, I feel that Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, and Shubham Dube was before coming to PSK, like talking about the RCB bowlers, like what I felt was like the first 7 matches they were trying to prove themselves. Like even in the right after the auction, there were allegations that the RCB bowling is very weak. They'll go for 2 feet results. I think that created a pressure on them. Like they wanted to prove people wrong. They wanted to go on at home. They were desperate for a performance. So after the 7 matches, even they wouldn't thought that they would come to the playoff contention. So they started performing freely to relieve pressure. So when you play to relieve pressure, you will start doing the basics very clearly. I think that's what bowlers like Mohammad Siraj, SGL did really well. Like SGL for a couple of minutes, he was too good. Like he doesn't have that extra pace. He doesn't have that blockers like Bumrah. What he does is he just comes and bowls in the length. He just does the basic really well. I think that's what helped him RCB and some explosive batting from his jazz, even Faf coming to form, and Ajay Padyar is spin hitting. Like I agree with Gershon, like he was just like Shivam Dubey, like how both of them plays up comfortably. Like when they hit six, it won't go past 60, 70 and all. It will surely go past 80, only into the stands. I think that shows how clean they hit the ball. And coming to CSK, I think the bowlers, I think somehow they will manage, like Pusad Deshpande, Sadul Tagore. I don't know how did they win matches versus MI and those were batting at 78, not out in 14th over. From there, those two bowlers are on the match, not Atriana and Musabisur. So I still believe that CSK bowling is not become that big. We are still strong. Our bowlers are performing not because of slow pitch we won. Okay, we are performing well for quite a few matches, and I
Yeah,
think
not just
the
consistent. Yeah, okay.
yeah the recent the,
Guys,
like
I don't know if
like
there's an RCB CSK this thing going on, but
bro,
there is CSK
triggered me, bro.
rivalry
It
going on
triggered
here.
me. It triggered
Yeah.
me really.
So
Like what can I do?
yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
that
Okay.
new guys, Majid Singh, he came from clocking 150 kilometers. Like it was really good to see an Indian domestic
True.
bowler who we never thought will play game. He comes to and shows his talent, like what he's capable of. I think, and what's the difference between CSK and RCB? What I feel is in CSK only one player can win you matches single-handedly, but for RCB, we need a collective performance. Like if Graf is out, they are gone. If Half is out, still they are gone. They will have that back point. Even Rajapatya is out in the middle, still they will found somewhere in difficult. I think if
Right.
RCB should win, they should have some 5 blocks on Glenn Maxwell, who's in out
Yeah.
of touch in the season. I think he should step up in this important match, in this clutch match. So let's see. So I hope it will be one hell of a match today.
Mhm.
Whoever wins,
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly. And of course, yes, CSK are still a strong squad. Even though lots of injuries are there, yes, still is a very strong squad. So is
No
RCB's.
love
Like,
lost.
of course,
No
we've
love lost
seen.
between Rajasthan and CSK. Just saying. Continue.
Yeah, and even RCB have been really good. Of course, 5 out of 5. So, of course, RCB are coming up from a really good momentum, and they're a really good side. So it's going to be a really exciting match. I don't even need to take predictions today because, of course, Gershon says RCB, Sai says CSK, and for me, I just want a really good match. There has been lots of hype for this match. I just hope that this match lives up to that hype because this has been one hell of an entertaining season.